I know that we just ended and had our first virtual seminar, so just want to thank everyone for joining for that segment. We're actually transitioning into a more uplifting kind of environment. We're here to celebrate the life and the legacy of the great Dr. Michael Webb. And today I know that we had a topic that we focused a lot about the pandemic, about COVID-19, but it's great that we can all be here together to share this space, to share this energy with one another. And it's kind of great for us to kind of go in to, share some great moments that we had with Dr. Webb. For those who may, this may be your first time hearing about who he is and his life, you'll get a chance to hear from a lot of people who, may have known him well, his family, and we'll be here to kind of share, that energy together and really be able to uplift his legacy today, his birthday. So just wanted to, say happy birthday again to Dr. Michael Webb. And I'm going to pass it on to Jadea to really, continue with our welcome and building our spirits as we jump into this amazing conversation.
Thank you so much, Latif. Yeah, thank you. I think you said it perfectly. We are here to celebrate an amazing man, and it's just like a testament to his spirit and his, energy that, we have so many people from around the world and the country just here to hold space to celebrate this great person. Joaquin brought a baby into the room, and I just want to say that that has just like brightened my day so much. I'm seeing so many familiar faces, and I see so many familiar names and unfamiliar names, which I think is also just amazing on its own. And what I think should just be named is that the man that we're here to celebrate, we're all here because we're all connected to IYLI and we're connected to Michael in some way. And that's all based upon like a decision that, Michael Webb and Keith Brown made, like, over 30 years ago now at a dinner table that ended up changing our lives so much. And so as we go throughout this, I feel tears welling in my eyes. Oh my gosh, I was just thinking about the principles that they stood for, what they lived for, what they fought for, and what we continue to fight for and how we continue to carry that torch. And just like, what does it mean to leave a legacy? And we're thinking about like, what does it mean to like have like, everlasting life in like living in the hearts of the people whose lives you impacted. So, what we're about to do, honestly, we could talk about, Michael all day. How do you even begin to describe such a man? For those of us who had the pleasure of getting to know him and his uniqueness. What I'm about to do is I'm about to share, like what better way to describe Michael and for us to learn about him than from just hearing from him yourself. I'm seeing like family come in. So happy to see y'all. But yeah, what better way to start than to hear from Michael himself? So you're gonna hear Michael and you're gonna see him. And as you're doing that, like, like message into the chat. See you, Catherine. Thank you for joining us. As you're listening, like put into the chat, like, what can you tell about Michael from what you hear? I'm gonna share my screen so that everyone should be seeing themselves. Hold on. Wait in music. Okay. So, okay. I hope everyone can see this. And I hope that everyone can hear me. Can someone confirm that you can see the screen that I'm trying to share?
I can see. That's fine.
I can see.
All right. I love it. All right. So here we go. So I'm going to mute everyone. And terrible timing. I'm going to mute everyone and we'll get started from there. Just give me a second to try and figure this out.
On Zoom, you want to share the screen with the computer.
I had the screen share, but what I'm trying to do is like trying to mute everybody. Somebody help.
And you can mute everybody in the participant box.
Okay, I found it. I don't even know whose voice is speaking right now, but I appreciate you. I found it.
No doubt.
All right, everyone's gonna be muted. My screen is gonna be shared, and we're gonna press. Oh shit, talking mushrooms. I didn't mute myself. Okay, good.
It's a blessing for me. I am the founder of International Youth Leadership Institute. In 1989, 26 years ago, it's been quite a journey. And we started this organization, myself and another young man at the time, Keith Brown. We started this program because we were concerned about the isolation of youth in our community. Many of our young people never venture out of Harlem or South Bronx or Brooklyn, Bed-Stuy, and they have a very limited perception of what the world is about and about their place in the world. The other thing is that if you're a person of African descent and you think that Africa is a bad place and associated with very negative kinds of things, then how can you be whole? How can you be positive? How can your identity, your cultural identity, be intact? And you think that about the origin of your people. And what's ironic is that everyone actually is descended from Africa. Everyone is a person of African descent. But because of historical, cultural, geographic, and environmental issues and situations that have occurred, we don't understand that or realize that. But Black people, by virtue of our physical characteristics, our culture, our closer identification with the continent, because it's been so long since we've been in this country, and African culture is alive and well, even though we don't recognize it. Many of our speech patterns and our ways of interacting, the way we use language, the way we associate with each other are directly connected with that culture, even though we've forgotten where it came from. So understanding those connections is also very important. But travel for travel's sake is a wonderful thing. People need to know about the other folks living in this world, have more tolerance, look at how people are addressing issues that face in their community. So these are all factors that led us to start this institute 26 years ago, targeting our young people, kids Latino, kids of African descent.
Hey, now, what in your youth do you think inspired you or influenced you to get involved with something like the program the institute you found?
It was definitely my grandmother, definitely. My grandmother used to take us my mother had to work 3 jobs. She was a single parent raising 3 boys. And we were a poor family. I'm the first in my family to graduate from high school. I didn't have anyone in my immediate family get past the 8th grade. And my grandmother was determined that we were not going to be in that condition. The 3 boys were going to get a good education. She took us to the museums. She took us to speeches. And lectures. She took us to college campuses just to walk around. And she was very much invested in our having acquired knowledge about ourselves. And so as part of those visits, I began to see the Egyptian civilization at the museum, and I was inspired by that. I thought, wow, these people were African, and they did all of this. How can they do it, and how can we be in the position that we're in today? There's also Martin Luther King and Malcolm X, and so many different ancestors and contemporaries. We had encyclopedias in our house. My grandmother made sure that we had encyclopedias, and I read voraciously. So I read about our people, I read about Africa, and it was such a contrast to what I was hearing and seeing. You know, I can remember my Sunday school teacher telling me that if you are not saved, if you're not baptized, then you will never enter the kingdom of heaven. And I remember thinking about Tarzan and all the natives in those movies. I mean, these kinds of stereotypes, and the fact that none of those people who were depicted, even though many of them were in blackface and weren't actually Black people, many of those people theoretically would never enter the kingdom of heaven because they didn't know Jesus, they didn't know baptism, and that didn't resonate very well with me. I mean, even at a young age, I was a thinker, and I could not imagine that there was a God who would say that because you haven't had exposure to something, you wouldn't enter the kingdom of heaven. And so these were the kinds of thoughts that motivated me to want to know more, but also realize that there were some intense injustices. And then the fact that I lived during the era of the civil rights movement at its peak in the 60s, and I saw the people being hosed down and dogs beset upon them. All of these things made me very angry. So at the same time I was reaching out, trying to figure out my identity as a Black person, I was angered by the way that our people have been treated and wanted to know more about why and how. And it seemed to me that part of it was a denigration of who we are and our value as human beings. And there was something about our connection with Africa that gave us the potential to reclaim that heritage, to reclaim that dignity, to overcome the vestiges of enslavement and brutality that were wreaked upon our people for hundreds of years. I also realized one more thing, Leslie, that was that prior to 300 years ago, Africa was not thought of in the way that it is today. Africa was seen as a place of great wealth and knowledge. Of some of the greatest universities were there, some of the earliest universities. The knowledge that was now associated with Greek philosophy and Greek scholarship derived directly from Africa. All those folks studied in Africa. So when I started to realize all these things, I realized, like, who was it that talked about the hokey doke? That the hokey doke had been perpetuated on us, and that we had been brainwashed, and that we had to reclaim, as someone else described it, our African mind. So those were some of the influences that inspired me to want to provide a forum for young people to rise out of the condition that we're in of lethargy, we pretty much, we just accept this unnatural state that we're in. If you think about the state that many of our communities are in, you'd have to say they were not natural. They were abnormal states. They were not states of wholeness and wellness. They're states of degradation and poverty and the lack of education. Those are unnatural. So we've begun to accept unnatural that that which is unnatural. That had to be turned around. And the Institute is a way to provide a forum for young people to begin to see how unnatural our state is and what is a natural state.
Mm-hmm. Okay, that's beautiful. And I like to talk about, to one point, address, because I too, as a young person, felt the same way like you did, as far as how could God turn his back on people who didn't have the opportunity to meet Jesus. But when
Woo. I gotta take a breath. So yeah, wow, right? I'm just like reading through like the comments like as they're coming in. I'm just gonna take a second and just be silent.
Hello.
And go through some of these comments and share back what I'm seeing. Ooh, Bismillah. All right. So the question that we asked, thank you, Latif, for putting that in the chat, was, what can you tell from Michael? What can you tell about Michael from what you're hearing? I saw Anaya say, and this is for the benefit of those who are calling in, I saw Anaya say that, he's a wise and intelligent man who doesn't wait for others to make a change. He makes that change happen, which is so true. Yeah, I haven't really, this is actually an interview that Michael conducted in 2015. And so we can share with you the link thereafter. It's actually a clip of like a longer interview with him and another IYLI fellow, Zion Dakota, who some of you know. So we'll share the link. We can share the slideshow as well. Let's see. I said that he's inquisitive and reflective. Shira said that he was so smart and knowledge seeking. I'm seeing it's beautiful to hear his voice again. We said he has a strong knowledge of self and of our history. He loves his people on the African continent. So true. A man of manifestation. I would love to hear more about that later. Shira said that he used to talk like this on our programs. It was such a casual conversation. He was always imparting knowledge. So true. Latif, you're totally not the only one with chills. I'm over here crying. Benedicta says it's truly amazing the amount of lives that IYLI impacted. Ebunzole, Brazil in the house. She says, shape baller. Anaya says she wish she got to meet him. Well, but you are an innovative Aries who actually cared about his people from Ebun. Thank you for that. And Bernadette says that it's powerful to see him as a young person and his consistency and commitment and what he believes, and as he became an adult, and that he left us with a wealth of knowledge, and that he was persistent and disciplined. And the knowledge and power we saw in him, he saw it in all of us. Ooh. Anissa, that hit so hard. Yeah, like that, right? Like just like getting to hear his voice. Like we figured that, you know, what better way to start this off than, you know, hearing from him. And so just transitioning to you know, our next portion. So we have like a question for all of you. You know, add into the chat, like, you know, 2 adjectives that you would use to describe Michael. Like if you had 2. What do you love most about him? Yeah, that's the question that's here. Discipline and commitment. He always put us first, his community and his people. Facts. An honor to get to know him and see the commitment he had to the work. So true. Joaquin said he believed in service and helping the people develop their critical consciousness, and he knew he was an agent of change and help others to see that they can be too. Ashe. Also, you know, community norm. Yes, we are. This is virtual, but if you hear something that touches your heart, feel free to, you know, plug in and Ashe. This is IYLI, you guys. It's okay. Fitness. So I just also just like unmuted.
Hello.
iPhone Shamik says how raw he was, innovative and determined.
I second the how raw
Loving
he
in
was.
his generosity
Christian.
of spirit. Hey Pat, so nice to see you. I just want to also shout out that we have Jibby calling all the way from Senegal to be here with us.
Ooh,
Is
nice.
Nangadev still appropriate if it's nighttime? Somebody, Johnny Lee, is it?
Say it.
Oh, Johnny,
Yeah.
you're muted. I don't
Sorry, you can still say it.
Hi. Hi guys, how are you?
Hello.
Bonsoir. I want to apologize to everybody. I've had the sound off of my computer this entire time, so I literally didn't hear.
Oh my God! Hi, Jibby.
Hi.
I'm hearing he was.
Hi, how are you?
Hi. Hi, Miles.
I'm sorry to be late. I just came from the work.
Thank you for being here.
Long time no see.
China. And other guys. Hi.
Jabril. Negative.
Yeah.
Monkey P. What's up, bro?
I'm good. And you?
I'm good. I'm good.
Everybody is good.
Nah, it feels so good to see you. I'm not gonna lie. I haven't seen you in years. It feels real good to see you.
Ethan.
Okay. Alhamdulillah. So, all right. I'm hearing Inspiring and committed, uplifting and dedicated, loving, tenacious, brave, and full of love, a leader and his loving and generosity of spirit, innovative and determined. Ife, welcome to the party, Ife. 1998 in the building. That's an interesting question. Like, okay, other people here who are alums, who thinks that they're like the alum from the furthest back? Chat. So far,
Wait, repeat the question.
Say that again.
other people who are alums, who thinks that they're the alums who go like furthest back? So Ife just like introduce herself in the chat. She said she's here from 1998. Do you have anyone who can read 1998 as an alum? Because we have people on the call who are like, oh, I've known Michael since he was born. But like, of the alums. 2009 on present. Okay, so
I think I was 16, I believe, 16 and 17.
so from how far back can got mad at you yourself? All right. So, all right. So, more like feedback that we're seeing right now. Bernadette says it was overwhelming for her is witnessing many lives in life. She loves and confidence and unstoppable spirit. Time definitely does fly, Ife. It's like so beautiful to see. So like, these like characteristics that are true in Michael, I think something that Nisa said that really resonated is that what we saw in him, he saw in us as well. And so since this is a space where we want to just open up to honor and appreciate Michael, we also want to make space for you all to share whatever it is that you might be on your heart to share. And whether you knew him personally or you getting to know him through his great work, like if you know his work through IYLI, then you know him in a sense. All the things that are beautiful about IYLI, we can absolutely, have him to thank for that. So with that being said, I do want to just acknowledge, Marie says Michael was a visionary, loves our people deeply. He says that we all have his legacy. That's so true. I want to acknowledge, so two quick things in order to share out. If, for example, you want to, be spotlighted with a video, if you could just highlight, if you could just like comment in the chat, like the word legacy. You put the word legacy in the chat and like we'll be able to see it, so we can just spotlight people in order to share out a brief reflection for Michael. I'm sure that a lot of us will want to share. So when I say brief reflection, I do mean that. But like, if we're thinking about a time where just like a moment where Michael might have impacted you or what he's left for you, please feel free to say so. And at this moment, I would like to just acknowledge like the folks who we have in the room, specifically Derek. We have Derek, Michael's brother. Like we have Michael's family like represented here, and I just want to, just like call you out and say hey. And yeah, it's cool. Like feel free to wave. He's nice. Hi Derek. But yeah, I just want to open up to the community now to share out. Just type legacy in the chat. Also, yeah. All right, so Derek said he'll go first, so I'm going to spotlight you, and please take it away.
Hello, everyone. And I want to just show my deep appreciation for you all showing up and being here. Yeah, I was very excited to hear about this. So I didn't have anything really planned to say, but so I will be very brief. The one thing that comes to mind when it comes to Michael was his fierce independence and his deep sense of fighting for the truth. In fact, I would describe him as a fighter on every level. He was one definitely not to be trifled with. There were times when he would fight for things that, you would just, I know, hard to imagine that he would be willing to stay into a fight. My eldest brother, Ronald, who was physically much stronger and bigger than Mike, would sometimes taunt Mike when we were growing up. But Mike would engage with him, and then it would, devolve into fisticuffs. And Ronald was like I said, he was more physically gifted, and he would sort of beat Mike to a pulp. But the one thing is, Mike would never give up. He would never stop. He would never, ever stop. And Ronald would get tired after a while. He goes, okay, enough. But no, it would never end. Mike would just keep going on and on. And so the lesson that Ron learned was just don't get in a fight with him, because there would never be an end to it. There was a time when Mike was about 13 years old, and our cousin was being accosted by some guys who kind of jumped him. And so Mike jumped into it because he was our cousin and to protect him. My cousin ran away. Mike continued to fight like 3 or 4 guys by himself continuously until, again, they beat him until he was nearly unconscious. He got home, he never made a thing of it. He got himself together, but that was Mike. And I think the lesson I learned, the difference between Mike and I when we were growing up was I was kind of afraid of everything, where he was afraid of nothing. He took a road trip at 12 years old. He went to Rochester by himself. He got on the bus and went to Rochester just because he wanted to go somewhere. He wasn't running away from home. He just wanted to go on an adventure. He was that kind of person. He did not really understand the idea of fear, or if he did, he faced it all the time. And I think that spirit he kind of imbued in me, and I think in others too, to believe in yourself, to understand your own power, to recognize that there isn't anything that's beyond your capability. All you have to do is just kind of stay in the fight. And I can feel that in myself now. And I see that in a lot of people that he's touched as well. So in closing, I'll just say, regardless of the things that bring angst and fear and anguish into your life, as long as you have life, you have hope, and to stay in the fight. And I know that's what he would want you to do.
Ashe.
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 Thank you so much for
Ashe.
thank you for starting us off, Derek. It means a lot to us in that, like, IYLI is absolutely a family, as I'm sure everyone here knows. And, to have you here just kind of, like, your very presence just, like, serves as a testament to that. And, just picturing Michael at a young age, I absolutely believe that he would not give up in a fight, even if outnumbered and outgunned. That it's very much like a Michael thing to do. I like to ask if I haven't seen anyone else type legacy into the chat. Silence is also okay. Shrug. We'll wait. Ife did. Thank you. There we go. Ife, I'm about to spotlight you now. Well, I'll ask you to start your video, but
Oh yeah, sorry that you guys can't see my video, but I can speak. And hello everybody. I'm not gonna speak very long either. I don't have anything pre-prepared and I don't think I'm the best at speaking off the top of my head, but I met Mike when I was 13 years old. I was a student at Thurgood Marshall Academy at the time, and Mike had been working closely with Dr. Johnson, who was the principal of the school at the time. And so I became involved in IYLI then, and continued to stay involved throughout my high school, the time that I was in high school, and then, continued to stay connected to Mike throughout the rest of my life. And I'm just so grateful. It feels really serendipitous that he came in my life at the time that he did. I wasn't at that school very long. And so it really feels like it was only fate that brought him and that brought IYLI into my life. And I feel so blessed, as I know so many others do, that he had this vision, that he worked so hard to make it a reality, to touch all of our lives. My understanding of myself as a person and as a global citizen was really developed through my time at IYLA. And so, I'm just so thankful for him. His spirit and his impact on me continues to live and will continue. And I tell all of the young people in my life about the program. And so I count it to be an incredible blessing that I had the opportunity to be touched by him, and a further blessing that I'm here with all of you celebrating his life and his legacy now. So I just wanted to say a couple of words about my gratitude to him and his legacy. And hello, so good to see all of you.
Beautiful.
Thank you so much. Ashe.
Ashe.
Did I see Hanaya? In the chat saying that she wanted to start? Question mark. I don't see her now. Yikes. Anyone else interested in sharing that? Okay, let's go, Yamani.
Yeah, I'll do it. I feel like I could talk about him forever and ever and ever.
But
I'm very aware that I'm on a time constraint, but yeah, I'll just say I feel like I wouldn't be where I am now without him. Like, not even I feel, I know for a fact I wouldn't, for a whole lot of reasons, but there are like two distinct memories I have with him that I'll never forget. Three, and I'll make it real fast, but the first one is, I don't know if you guys had this experience, but when I first got to RLI, like my first seminar, I would think I was like 13 or 14. Yeah, it was at NYU. And I just remember being like so nervous and so intimidated just by like all the kids in the room. Everybody looked to be like older and more articulate and well established. I'm thinking from a 14-year-old's perspective. So like, I didn't actually know what was going on, but in my mind, everybody just seemed so much smarter than me. And this was just all based on like appearances and just like me assuming. I didn't even have to hear anyone speak yet. I just immediately, brought myself down to a lower level and just was so intimidated by just all the brilliance that was in the room. And I didn't really feel like I was quite associated with that. And Dr. Webb,
you should
first, everyone.
Not that you should, but I'm on the in Zoom. It's pretty interesting.
Doris.
Some people you know.
Doris.
Yeah.
Yes. Oh, yes. So, yeah, he forced everyone to like introduce themselves. I just remember like asking him like if it was okay if I could like be skipped or if someone else could go and I'll introduce myself to him later. And he refused. He said, absolutely not. And I know, Derek, you spoke to this, just him always being willing to embrace his fears and face his fears. Like, it took me a while to learn how to do that. And he was showing me immediately by saying, like, no, you're going to stand up in front of these 40 plus kids and you're going to introduce yourself. And from that point on, I feel like he showed me why it was so important for me as a Black man to have my voice and for my voice to be strong and for everybody to be able to hear it. And to, I guess, just be able to orate and articulate yourself. I just didn't understand the importance of it until like I really got to know him and understand like really what he was about and just what the Institute was about. But I just remember him being like, no, like you have to speak. And from that point forward, I just slowly got like more comfortable with speaking and sharing. And I mean, now I think I'm a great public speaker, and I think a lot of that has to do with him and how much he pushed me to face those fears and to just get over the crowd and just focus on the content of what you're saying rather than, you know, the amount of people looking at you. So there's that memory. And then I go to American University in Washington, D.C., and I think I was also 14, and he had a college trip to DC, and I was so nervous. I hadn't really been to too many colleges prior to this, but I remember him telling me like, Yamani, you could go wherever you want to go. You could go to Georgetown, you could go to Howard, you could go to Harvard, you could go wherever you want, wherever you set your mind to it. If that's where you want to be, you can do it. And I just remember how powerful it was being at 14, walking around a campus that 4 years later I'd end up, being at and the school that I ended up going to. I just think it's crazy that he like introduced me. He basically like brought me to where my future was headed. And I just think that's so powerful because he did that for so many kids. He opened those doors, not only physically, but just mentally, and just showing you that no matter where you are, where you come from, who you are, that you can get to where you want to go. And that was really powerful for me. And I'll never forget just being such a young kid, being like, wow, like to think that I could be walking around this campus with all these other kids who are so much smarter than me. And lo and behold, I was able to do it. So there's that. And it's the last memory. When he was, I think he was pretty sick by this time. I think it was like, I don't remember what year it was. Yeah, I was a senior in high school. I remember that for sure. But I used to go by he had like an apartment in Harlem over on, I think 145th, something like that. And I used to go visit him. You said what?
135th.
135th, yeah. So I used to, by the Schomburg. Yes, I used to go visit him. And I just remember it was kind of hard to understand him. I think he was hooked up to like an oxygen machine at the time. And he was really struggling. But I'll still never forget his smile and just how positive he was. And, even when to me, it seemed like this was when he was supposed to be at his most sad. It just seemed like he was still so happy and he had so much positive energy and just so much love. And I'll just never forget his smile and his energy and the warmth that he embraced me with. And I think that was the last time I hugged him. I think that was probably the last time I saw him. But yeah, I'll just never forget our interactions, our conversations. So, but thank you for letting me share. That means a lot. So,
sure.
Thank you for speaking from your heart as you do. And it seems that you've inspired quite a few people to share, because we got a bunch of legacies in the chat. So what I'll say is that for future reference, if you have like more than one memory, that's perfectly cool. But just to make sure that everyone will get a chance to speak from their hearts as well, let's do like one at a time, and then come back into the chat for like the next one. I think that that'll be a good way to go forward. Someone is trying to chime in. Bernadette is next in the chat. I'm gonna spotlight you, Bernadette.
Hi, am I on? Can you hear me?
Yep, we can hear you. I'm looking for you to spotlight you. So, okay, there we go.
Okay. Hey, everybody. Peace and love. Love and peace. I had to come after Imani. And I plucked that legacy in because I remember when Imani came in and I was just, you know, and to look at you now, Imani, is like, oh my God, wow. this young man who received so much from the IYLI program and Dr. Webb's guidance speaks to who Dr. Webb is and what he gave himself to others, young people, old people. I think Dr. Webb was a challenge for all of us. He set the standard, he set the tone, he set an example, and challenged us to live up to our greatest self. So, and that's something that I looked at him and watched him as he did his work. And I watched and I, you know, said, you know, to myself, you know, can I do this? Can I become this great of a person to touch lives, which, you know, that he's touched so many young people. And like I said, older people. Michael and I met, and I'm a board member. I was a board member then. I'm still a board member. I was really impressed with the program and got involved. We had our agreements and we had our disagreements, but he was always respectful to me. And we always had a pleasant conversation. We laughed. We, you know, talks about life and about our people and about what's going on in the world. But, you know, one thing I just admired in him was his discipline and his persistence, even as Imani said, to the end. And I remember seeing him too at the end stage of his life. And I was just in awe. I was like, my God, you know, I've never actually witnessed someone that was so ill that continued to still give of themselves. And that is like a high order. Like many people don't even give of themselves when they're up and around and up and about. And this man is sitting here having a board meeting with us, and he's on an oxygen machine, and he's still going and still smiling. And I'm just like, wow. It's inspiring. That he inspired me so much. And I guess that's why I'm still with IYLI today. And I can't see myself leaving. It's just like you get in here and you say, this man spent his entire life pretty much making sure that he fed people. He gave to people. He gave to young people especially, because he knew that the young people were the seeds. If I can plant the seeds in them, then I've done something. I've made a difference, because I know, and he had the opportunity to see how these young seeds would grow into beautiful flowers, into beautiful people, touching and changing the world. I watched and this, I want to say it like this, as he passed the baton on to the next two people who I think he really knew could carry on this organization. And they have done an amazing job. Sorry, I'm getting a little emotional. Miss Jadea and Latif. Two amazing young people who he has touched. And they will continue And we'll never let this die. And I'm so proud of you. And I know Dr. Webb is so proud of you. And all of you people, young people who he touched. I know he's proud, and I know he loves you so much. I can see it. I saw it, just the way he just spent his life dedicated to you. So that's my memory, and he will always be in my heart and a guiding light for me.
Alhamdulillah. Thank you. The next, yeah, love you, Bernadette. Thank you. And we don't take that legacy lightly, not at all. The next legacy that I saw was Johnny Lee, so I'm gonna pass it to you. Who I can, I'm putting pressure on everyone to be brief. I'm sorry, I know, because you know he touched us so much, you know, and so I do apologize if at any point like some of y'all get like the wrap it up signal. My bad. Please try and understand. Charge it to my head and not my heart. Johnny Lee, I'm about to spotlight you now.
Yeah, I had to
It's you.
okay, yeah. It's not necessarily a memory, but it's so crazy like when you start to become this young professional and everything and you're like out in the world and you realize like Dr. Webb really created this incubator for like the diversity of Blackness to exist and flourish and be the most blackest version of themselves in all its glory and excellence. And you realize like how lucky and how privileged we are to be able to walk in our Blackness and our beautiful Blackness with such confidence and such like unwavering, unfilteredness. Like we can just simply walk out into the world and be our most excellent, most highest version of ourselves because this man believed in us so much to be leaders. I see that in my teammates every day, and it makes me hungry to just be like, I can do it all. I can do anything. I just love the fact that, especially for me, like he was like, there's no one way just to be you and to express your Blackness and to express your excellence. Like you may also be a fighter in the streets and you may also be a debater at the debates. Like you can do both. And just knowing that I could be duplicitous and I could be successful in whatever type of pivoting role I was gonna do, he was just like, yeah, go with that. So that's kind of the energy that I feel like is in my spirit right now from him, and just feeling so honored, again, to Bernadette's point, to like always have just to Jade and Latif's, like always having a bomb team that's just like by any means necessary, we're gonna continue making sure that we're uplifting Black and brown kids, uplifting our community, uplifting our people, and putting us first and prioritizing future generations that are investing in Africa. So that's that on that. So yes, I'm done.
Oh, Ashe. For those of you who might not be familiar, Johnny Lee is IYLI's Director of Operations, even though she tries to call herself a volunteer. But yeah, this is all three of us, between myself and Latif and Johnny Lee, all three of us were, you know, Tanzania 2011 squad, gang. Shout out to those of us who I see here. Shout out to Anissa. I see you, fam. You know, just you know, little Janessa Kiswahili, little moment there, you know. Appreciate you guys and thank you for being here. Let me see. The next person in the chat. Oh my God, all the Ashes. I'm trying to keep up. Lord of mercy. Okay, we have Miles and then Belu and then Shura. Yeah, Miles and then Belu and then Shura and then Jibby. Y'all gonna help me keep track. Okay. Miles, I'm about to spotlight you now.
I've unmuted. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, cool.
It's so good to see you. Okay.
So I wrote a little something because I didn't really have anything prepared, but I just wanted to to say that Dr. Webb gave me the structure that I needed in a time where I felt like I was falling apart, and he awakened a sense of self that has been a catalyst and has been transformative for my life forever. For the first time, I was introduced to a learning environment where I felt encouraged and acknowledged and loved. And so I always carry a piece of Dr. Webb in my heart. And damn, okay, sorry, I'm not gonna do that. But basically, Dr. Webb is so amazing, and he is so amazing. I'm not gonna say was, because he really is so amazing. Because just like where he put us, we are so blessed and so honored to have had a piece of him in our lives. Because where I am now, that would have never happened without Dr. Webb. And especially just like wanting to learn and being excited about learning and learning about myself was something that I had been exposed to earlier on, but public school in New York City took that out of me. And just to have that restored in such a loving environment full of Black people who look like me and full of Black kids who look like me and cared about me and were happy to see me, it was a beautiful, beautiful experience. And so, sorry, but to like be in the position that I am now, it's not without Dr. Webb's doing. So I'm always grateful for him, and I just, I just want to make him proud, because he was more like an uncle to me than than anything else. And so I really cherish him, and he's so beautiful. But yeah, thank you.
Oh, that hit. Ashe. I'm typing that in the chat too. Ashe.
Sorry, guys. I cried.
Apologize for feeling feels. You're a whole human. Thank you. And the next person we have to share is Belu. And then after Belu, we have Shura and then Jabi. Après-vous, Belu.
Hi. Ashe. Thank you, Miles. That was beautiful. And you made me tear up a little bit. I just want to say, out of my two cents, just say, like, listening to his voice again in those interviews you shared just reminded me of the possibility of change. And I think that's something that was so powerful about Dr. Webb, is how he was this incredibly tangible example of change. The fact that he was able to touch so many lives and impact so many people who are all now going about change in their own way, change within themselves and in their communities, is like so beautiful, especially like at a time like this in the world. I think it was important for me to hear his voice again and remind myself that, he was able to change so many lives, and that's something that like any of us can do as well. And I think he was so important in the fact that he gave so much of himself to so many people. And it's always inspiring, because it's easy to just do for yourself. But his legacy is so strong. And I think like right now, this is just like an incredible example of that, like the fact that all these people are gathered to, remember him. And it's
oh no,
spirit.
Belu,
You
you
out for a
second. You dropped for
Oh, okay. Can you hear me?
Yes.
It's just really incredible how his like spirit feels so alive right now, and how we're talking about him in this very present sense, because he's still there, like in all of us. And that's just one of the most beautiful things, I think. And yeah, just wanted to talk about that and his energy, and it's really amazing to see all of you and to see him reflected in everyone as well.
Ashe.
Ashe.
Love you, Belu.
Love you guys.
You.
Miss you guys.
Miss you too.
Where on our planet are you? Are you back in the United States?
Yeah, I am.
Like, easy, and then it was hard to get back. You're back.
Yeah, I was stuck in Samoa for like a little bit.
Kind of like for you. This is what I
had like 4 flights canceled and made my way to Philly. I'm in Pennsylvania right now.
Okay. Stay safe. Oh my God. Next, Shura, Miss Watson. Oh my goodness, thank you, by the way, for inviting your students to our conversation about pandemics. How cool is that? We have people in Florida.
Yeah, and one of them wrote feedback. They enjoyed it, and they were like, "Do they talk about this, this, and this?" They wanted to know, more about the program, and they think it's awesome because they said social media is not giving them any information, and this was very informative. So they really enjoyed the seminar.
Alhamdulillah, that's wonderful.
Yeah, so I sound horrible, look horrible. I've been crying through this whole entire thing. Like, Mike was so awesome. So to hear everybody's story, it had me in tears the entire time. So yeah, but I met Mike like 2000, I think, because it was, yes. Mike made me feel safe, and he made me see the importance, like, in education even more, like, and just gaining that knowledge. I remember I was fortunate enough because I know going on our trips, those the summer institute and the winter institute, the group leaders change out depending on the trip. And I was fortunate enough to go with Mike to Egypt for 30 days as a kid. And that was so awesome. And it was like, he was like a parent. He was the older one of all of the group leaders. And he had so much knowledge to impart on us. And everywhere you turn, he was telling us different things. Like, if he was next to you in the temple, Mike is telling you about this. He's telling you about that. But one thing that stood out was he used to get us classes to learn the language so we can speak with the people. And we were in class like falling asleep, and he scolded us like, "Yo, you guys can't be coming to class going to sleep, this, that, and the third." And oh, sorry, my sister was calling, and he was scolding us like, you can't do that. Oh, she was calling back. Sorry. And now I'm an educator, and I'm just like, yo, you know how important it is to really take the knowledge people are imparting on you. And it wasn't like we would get up and just go to class. Mike had us walking miles, going to museums, and doing a whole bunch of stuff before we even got to class. So it was like we were already tired, and it was hot. But he wanted us to know so much, and he wanted us to be able to relate to others. And it was just like, wow, like that drive to impart knowledge on us and give us all that we need to be successful in another place was awesome. And I take that with me, and I share with my students all the time, like, yo, it's just, if people are out there who are willing to help you, get that help. The knowledge that everyone is trying to part on you, I'm telling you, take it, write it down. There's so much out there. And Mike just showed me that importance and just the thirst to always want to learn more. So it's just awesome to see the different generations of people here celebrating Mike and all the stories we have to share. If my mom's principal didn't come to her and offer that opportunity for me, I would have never met Mike. So this is awesome. Miss him.
Oh, Ashe, thank you for sharing that, and thank you for uplifting that. You just brought to mind for me, like that, just that nothing happens by accident. In that, each one of us on this call has like a great chain of events that led to us finding about IYLI and coming into like this community. It's just really nothing happens by accident. Like I think about, I was like looking through the list of names and I came across Anissa, and I just think about how, to your point, Shura, how you said that if not for you had mentioned that if not for your principal talking to your mom and telling her about IYLI, that you wouldn't have gotten to had that experience. And if not for my Moss sisters, Anissa and Aaliyah and Sajida and Malika, like had they not you know, told me about IYLI, because they could have just kept it to themselves, like they, you know, went to Egypt or whatever. Someday I'll not be salty about that. Someday, but like, you know, if not for them having made that introduction in the first place, then I wouldn't be here at this moment. And if not for, you know, that just great chain of events, you know, had you like not come to like that one open house, Yamani, like, you know, who knows what kind of experience would you, you know, have had. You could have said no to the person who introduced you to it and be like, never mind, I won't get out of bed, I won't make it. But we all made decisions that led to us, you know, walking into the room that first time, that led to us getting to know each other, that led to us getting to know Michael, and just the beautiful synergy that comes from that, and how our lives end up getting touched by each other as a result. And all of those things started from this, you know, this divinely inspired idea that, you know, Michael and Keith had. And I just think that that's so beautiful. Thank you, Shura, for reminding me just like of the fact that we are present to, you know, just like energy that is, you know, bigger than ourselves. You know, whether you like me, I'm Muslim, so, you know, I'd be like, Allah be looking out, you know, whether you know, the universe, however that is for you, but just thank you for, thank you so much. Oh, Marie has a message. I'll go into Marie's message and then shift into Jibby. Marie says, I have to hop off for another meeting. If you're an alum, please make sure we have your most updated contact information. Absolutely. Thank you so much for uplifting that, Marie. Like, we literally can't do it without you. So commercial break over. I'm gonna pass it back to Dibby. And just to repeat, also we have someone calling in on the phone. Like, if you, after Jibby shares out, if you might be compelled to speak out, Susan, please feel free. Jibby, you're on.
Hi guys.
Calling all the way from Senegal, Dakar in the building. Hey,
Yeah.
hey,
Yeah. Hi Johnny. Hi everybody. Hi Miles. What I can say is the first word, like the word that I can describe Michael is humble. I met him in 2010. I think maybe that was the first time that you came in Senegal, and you came in Engay Meke, and I think that everybody who was from Senegal, who came in Senegal, knew this place and knew how I like this place because my parents are from there, and that's my legacy too. And I just went there to see how things going there because everybody was talking about some Americans came to Senegal to maybe do something, but nobody knows what do they have to do there. And I have to thank to Professor Ba, who is a friend of my dad who is living in Colorado Springs. And once there, I found someone. Here we got one vision. When you see someone who is light skinned, you have to consider him like a white. And when you see a white person here, you think that he is someone who is not humble. So you just say hi, and you don't wanna do like something else. But once I said hi, Professor Ba told him that I'm his son, and the first thing that he asked me is what I wanna do in my life. I said, who is this guy? Why he's asking me that? That's not his life. And after, we got time to talk, and I can say Alhamdulillah because I know right now who I am, what I want to do, and I'm doing what I like. And maybe that's by him, but by God. And the first thing that I improved from me is the English. here English is like French is our main language and Wolof. And when I came in the program, he asked to everybody not to translate for this guy. Let him do it by himself. And I knew that that's not impossible. And he gave us chance to train some future leaders like Yamani. Yamani was in the program, maybe I forgot the date, but he was in Senegal. And now he became a man. He's not the young boy who won't do maybe everything that he wanted, but now he became mature. And I'm so proud to take part of his training. I'm so proud to be in this program. I'm so proud um, to know that I can be helpful for the next generation. Um, the last thing that I got from him is we can create or we can make it grow up a legacy, and this legacy is ours. In Senegal, we're looking for Ibrahim, and me is looking for how we can make a structure, how we can make IYLI in Senegal, and to help all Senegalese, all African to be trained, all youth to be ready, because now everybody knows that Africa is the future. So when we do not prepare the youth from this future, the one we will still in the same place, or we can be maybe worse than this situation. And that's what I like. And I like I found big leaders here as Jadea, as all other group leaders. And I think that's the beginning of something. Let's be more creative. Let's be um, let's be more together. Let's talk more. And I think maybe soon all things will be from our life. Thanks, guys.
Alhamdulillah. Thank you for sharing, and for sharing outside of, in like a whole another time zone, because it's totally like 8 p.m. out in Dakar. We do still have some space for people to share if you are inclined. I see faces of people who haven't typed legacy into the chat. Latif, I'm calling you out. Okay. Let's see. Anyone else? I saw Fred Guzman, shout out. iPhone says legacy. Okay, Shamik, you're on. I'm unmuting your. There you go. Spotlighting.
You was unmuting me. That's crazy. But what's up, y'all? It's Meek.
Hi, Meek.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Dr. Webb, to me, it's funny how I met him. Actually, I met him through Jason Higgins, and I actually worked for Higgins at the time, and he, I guess, saw my potential or just saw who I was becoming as a man, and he was like, "Yo, this is probably exact words if we know Higgins, right?" But he was like, "Yo, I'm going to Senegal, and I would love for you to come." And I'm like,
"Excuse me."
And that's his words. I mean, that was his exact words. He was really excited for me to come with him. And so my cousin, who was my guardian at the time, she was like, "You know what? Let's follow through with this." And so I met Dr. Webb, and also at the time I was just transferred schools. I was going from Bishop Ford. Oh no, actually I went my sophomore year to Senegal with Yamani and a couple other fellows. But what always stuck out with me with Dr. Webb was just, like I said earlier, how raw of a person he was with his words. And he knew I struggled with schoolwork and books and stuff like that. And he always made sure, like he checked in with me throughout the week to make sure I wasn't in detention, to make sure I was getting my schoolwork done, just to see how I was mentally at the time. And him being that figure, because I never had a father figure in my life, him being that mentor figure to me is what always stuck out with me. And he gives me traits of my nana because of how straightforward and raw their messages always were. And so that's what I picked up from him. Anytime I talk to him, I learn something all the time. And I don't have much of a close connection as a lot of people do in this chat, but I will never forget how straightforward and raw that man was. And it always stuck out because I never got that energy from anybody else I ever met, especially from a male. And me being a church folk person, I didn't even get that from the men from my church. And for somebody to just meet me and be able to point out my flaws and be able to, instead of downing me upon like my cousin did, he would find a way to turn those flaws into something precious. And so, like Imani said earlier, the public speaking, I picked up different public speaking skills. I've been keynotes at my Rites of Passage program, stuff like that. So I will forever love him for just his rawness and his straightforwardness. That's all I got for y'all, though. Appreciate y'all, though.
Ashe, that's a whole lot. Talking about that's all I got. That's a lot. And thank you for sharing. Right, Imani. I see your face. Like, come on, don't downplay yourself, Miss Brother Meek. Okay. So next in the chat we had Latif. Hey, after you.
Hi everyone. Just wanted to kind of share a little bit about my relationship with Mike. For me, I think one of the memories that I think about a lot is just like me like first engaging with Michael on the international program. The year before in Egypt, I was part of the program, and I had an amazing experience. And that's kind of my reason of wanting to come back and join for like the Tanzania program. And for me, it was like a really big opportunity because now we can have Michael actually participate as a group leader. And I was very focused on like impressing him. I think if anyone who's ever been a part of a warm and cool feedback session with Dr. Webb, you understand how intense that is and can be for you. I experienced it a lot very firsthand, and I would really kind of rank my success of a presentation based off of how short his cool feedback list was for me. So I just remember me really putting a lot of effort into those things. I remember it was like one time, I don't remember what the discrepancy was, but there was a piece of feedback that Mike had given to me. And it was like, okay, I got that. So next time I'm going to make sure that I, knock it out the park. And then I remember receiving the feedback, but then I had addressed it. It was like, no, but I did do that. And, years later, like I spoke to Michael, and he was just like, I really thought that you didn't like me for that one time that that I told you, gave you that piece of feedback, and you were totally right. And I was wrong about that. And I thought about it for a lot, but years down the line, I just thought you didn't like me. And I was like, no, like that's not the case at all. Like actually, like sharing that feedback. And I think from there, him and I, like our relationship, like really took off. Where I was been able to kind of speak to him about IYLI. He was very open about, like creating space for me to learn alongside him, creating space for me to lead. And that's something that he's always done for me. And that's something that I've always been very grateful for. And I think for me, it was just like kind of being like around him in a lot of close proximity. I think you kind of get to really learn and understand and see a person for like who they are. I think towards that, the latter, like that closer to the end of his life, I even learned more about him than I knew before. I learned he loved baseball. I learned, you know, about like all the countries that he's visited. I learned more about his family. I learned about his friends. So I think for me, just kind of getting, you know, allowing him to be as transparent as he was to me, is someone I looked up to like more than like, like, you know, not to say it's a list, but you know, I very much looked up to him. Like he was the first male I would say that wasn't like a rapper or a basketball player, or professional athlete that I really looked up to, and was very successful in everything that they did. So I think for me, very just grateful that he was able to touch me. Very grateful to see his tenacity in real life. I remember one day I picked him up literally from the hospital and took him home, and he was like, "Oh yeah, so you know we have that call," and I'm just like, "Are you just like you serious right now, huh?" He's like, "Yeah, I'm dead serious." So like I think for me, just seeing that and even spending time where you know it became very like literally you know difficult for him to breathe, for him to talk. And you know, for me, I really enjoyed just going over there, and I would tell him, "Hey, you don't have to speak to me. Like you can just listen. I could talk to you. We could watch baseball. You know, I just want to be here for you and be around you." And I really appreciated all that he poured into me. And you know, he was definitely a sponge on his own, and he allowed for the world to pour into him. He was definitely a person who continuously looking for growth and to learn from others. And you know, I just love him. I love you know IYLI, and it's you know his legacy and the lessons and values that he instilled in me is kind of one of the main reasons why I'm here today, and look forward to like leading this organization with Jadea, with Bernadette, you know, with Johnny Lee, you know, with all of our other alumni who are interested in coming back to support. You know, this is what his legacy is about. This is what matters most to him. You know, and I think that we should continue to uphold the values that he's instilled in all of us, um, and continue to build the world that we want for our people. So just want to thank everyone for joining, and just want to share my piece.
Ashe. So Benedicta, you said that you wanted to share. You may please. Are you okay? You can't activate your video? Question mark. Well, you're spotlighted, Benedicta. We're here. We're listening. You're off mute.
Hello.
Hi.
Okay, so yeah, I don't know what's going on. I actually can't see some of the. I believe the cameras were on at one point, and now they're not. But I don't know why mine isn't connecting. But okay, so my name's Benedicta. I'm a current IYLI fellow, and I don't know, like after hearing everyone's stories about Dr. Webb, I just find it so inspiring, and I just wanted to say, like, I guess, I mean, I can't speak because you know I've never met him, but because of how inspiring it was, I just felt like sharing my own, I guess, experience or testimony or story regarding IYLI and how it's like shaped me and changed me. I took some notes, so yeah. First and foremost, I just want to give like overall thanks to Dr. Webb. Just watching the video, hearing everyone speak on their experiences with him, like I genuinely feel like he has caused such an impact and such a move. And I don't know, I just envision him like watching us from like heaven. I believe in heaven. Watching us from above and just like smiling. Like I've never met this person. But I don't know. I feel like if I was in his shoes, I would be just so proud and like, so moved by the amount of hearts I've touched. Second, I'm gonna go into my experience with IYLI. I've been I've been a fellow for 1 year, and I've been a part of the program for 2. And it's incredibly set me apart in so many ways. Like, it's given me knowledge and that I wouldn't be able to get from anywhere else. And it's added onto my intellect and the way that I portray myself as a leader. I just want to thank like our current leaders for putting in so much effort into trying to change us the way that Dr. Webb changed you. And sorry, I don't know. When I look back, I only went on one summer heritage program, but which was last year, Senegal. But I don't know. It's really funny to say, but I don't know where I would be if I didn't go to those seminars, if I didn't put in the work I did for my CSDP, or like if I wasn't pushed by the leaders we have now. I'm just so grateful for Dr. Webb for giving them something that they wouldn't want to replace with anything else. And the fact that they're pouring it into current fellows like me, like I'm just so grateful. I'm grateful for the legacy of the program, the entire message, the goal, the community it brings, like all these people on this Zoom call. Most times, like we'd have like 1 or 2 like alumni or like that are not, you know, involved in working with the program come to our seminars. But seeing that from like across the United States, so much people like involved with IYLI and have something to say about it. It really touches my heart. The message of the program just speaks so much volumes, and it encourages leadership. And I believe that, or what IYLI has taught me, is that leadership is what truly brings about change. And it just motivated me like to change the world in so many ways. Like ever since I started, thanks to my friend Ashley, who's also a fellow, like before I was really shy, and I didn't want to, I felt as though like everyone else that was there was more knowledgeable, and like, I don't know, maybe because it was my first year, like it was a little intimidating. But instead of using that intimidation, well, what I realized taught me is that like, I guess the intimidation like brought me out of my shell. I mean, it like made me realize how I want to get to that stage, how I want to be able to lead in that way, how I want to be able to reach that level in public speaking. Like I want to be confident, and it is definitely taught me the importance of professionalism, accountability, confidence, so much more. And I truly believe that I will always, always, always be a part of my life. And I have this, I've grown, and I've had this immense feeling to want to help the program grow and expand and reach youthful people all over the world. I don't want it to just stop in one, 2 countries. And I know it's already grown so much, but like every young person that I've come into contact with, I'm young as well, but like, whether they're in their freshman year of high school, or like even my siblings, like I'm always advocating and saying that, you know, this program has changed me in so many ways, and I can't wait to pour that back into the next generation. And I just see myself leading and being a part of the impact that this program brings to people. And I want to touch hearts as well. So yeah, I just wanted to say that I'm really inspired and really moved, and I can't wait to grow even more with IYLI. Ashe.
Okay. Ooh. Oh my goodness. Oh my gosh. Let's see. So we have quite a goodness. What to do, guys? We have quite a queue. Oh God, we have a queue. Okay. Oh, okay. So here's what we'll do. We have Siva, China, Malak, and Ibioke. I think I said no. Yeah. And so that's where we are. Goodness. So Goodness. Sila, please, after you, trying to just see this time situation. But please, you want to definitely like make space. And Benny, honestly, you got me like, oh, you had me going right now. Like, right. I see you, Johnny. I see you snapping. Like, I feel that. I feel that. Sila, I'm about to spotlight you now. Oh, that was a whole alhamdulillah. Yeah, I'm gonna just go cry real quick. Whew. Sila? Sila?
Hello?
Hello. Hey.
Peace, family.
Hey, Sila.
Hey.
I just, I'll keep it short since I know that the time is, of the essence. I just to start off by saying give thanks to the Creator for the breath of life today for everyone, and may we just continue to have good health in these times, and just may He give us the strength to carry on and the wisdom to know how to treat each other better and the love to just share with one another. And then I just got to give thanks to the Creator for creating Dr. Michael Webb. There's only one Dr. Michael Webb, and he was able to just share so many shades of himself with us. And I'm very grateful for the shade that I was able to receive. Give thanks to Jadea, Latif. I'm not very familiar with the full board, but Bernadette and everyone else who's just keeping the mission going. Yes, just give thanks to you all. Keep it short once again. The story that I have to share with Dr. Michael Webb was that he just embodied determination and perseverance to the point where we were in Egypt one year and there was this dome in Aswan. A few people on here know what I'm talking about. And there was the task of hiking up that mountain early in the morning with a group of, over 12 high school students and, 3 adults. And it's challenging when you have all these different personalities. And in the end, we were able to, make it to the top of the mountain, and we had an Ashe circle in the dome. That's the story. But what I left out was Mike was battling these breathing problems, and he made it one step at a time up that hill to the top of this dome. That's life, y'all. It's just one step at a time. Just continue to strive and, be better one step at a time, each day at a time, each week at a time. And thank you all just for being, just giving you the gift of your presence right now. I love you all. And IYLI for life. Mike really embodied that.
Love you too, Sila. Our life for life. Facts.
Thank you.
Ooh, man, that was a word. In our queue, I think it was Sila and then Malak? Question mark. No, Sila then China, then Malak. Thank you, China. Spotlighting you. Right. No, justice. We have to do justice to everyone. So, and justice is proper order, freedom, justice, and equality. Okay, go for it.
Okay, so I just want to say again, thank you everyone for joining this celebration of life. Happy birthday, Dr. Webb. Forever thankful for everything that he has given to us. And I think just going back to when I first started IYLI, for me it was like, okay, great, I get to travel, I get to go to Africa, I get to like have that experience, but I quickly learned that it was more than just traveling, and it was more than just taking photos and, an African country. It was like about learning about myself, learning about others, learning about how we learning more about history. And I think for that, even now, look around the world, and my perspective on the world has always been changed because of him. So I'm really thankful for that. And I think also just by watching Dr. Webb interact with other people, I learned how to care for others. I learned how to express my act of service in a way that I've never experienced before. He was able to touch people and to interact with them and to inspire them in a way that was so authentic and so genuine. And he allowed people to be themselves. Like, it was nothing about changing or changing the way you appear to others. It was like learning who you are to yourself, expressing that to others, and being the best leader that you can. So I'm really grateful for that. And I think I see him all the time when I hang out with all my IYLI friends, and just interacting with them, I see love. And I make sure that I continue to try to share my love that he gave me to them. And I also see his love and his determination and everything that he's done in Jadea, in Latif, in Johnny Lee, and all of the work, literally everything that they've done since he handed it over to them. I can see how much he touched them, and he was able to just like foster their abilities to lead this program and to continue to do all the work that they've done in his name and continue his legacy. I'm forever thankful for them. I'm forever thankful for him to inspiring them. And I just hope we continue to promote his legacy, promote his message, continue to send students, continue to volunteer, and just continue to be the people that he wanted to be, because I know that he's all proud of us and he, loves us still, and I'm just really thankful for him. So, thank you, everyone.
We love you, China.
Yeah, we love you a lot.
Love you.
Ooh, feedback. Ooh, what was that?
Oh, and also thank you for all your work. Plug for our seminars coordinator.
Yeah,
alum.
thank you. Yo, you have been on it this year. It's so great, and it's like that's the kind of is cyclicality a word? Well, it is now. It's the cyclical nature of our programming as well. It's like you've contributed now, you've been a group leader now. Like we're just so proud of you always, and just always and forever in your excellence. So thank you for.
Just want to co-sign that, because you are excellent, amazing.
So great, literally the best. Next we have in the chat we have Malak. And then at the Malak, we have Ibijake, and then Irija. Woo! Timing. Oh my God. Just gotta name that. Yeah. Okay. Y'all go. Y'all help me out. Okay, please.
Hello, can everybody hear me? Oh, I can't hear anyone. Okay. Well, hi everybody. I just wanted to say something like very shortly. I had found out about IYLI through my cousin Jaleel, and I remember him just like telling me about it one day and how like he just really wanted me to be a part of it. And I remember like the first meeting I had went to, first person I had saw was Dr. Webb, and I was just like, I mean, of course, very nervous. I had never like met anybody there, but he was just like such a force and such an inspiration, I think, to like what IYLI meant to me, what it still means to me. What Judea means to me, because I think like I see Judea like at these events like randomly, and I'm just like, what are you doing here? And it's just like so amazing to see you, and I just realized like how much of an impact it's had in my life and like in the relationships I've had from this program. So I just wanted to just express like my love and gratitude for this program, and even from the times like me being there, it's just been insightful, and I just love being around the energy of you guys, and it's inspired me to do the things I've done in my life. Like I lived abroad in Ecuador for a year, and I don't think I would have even thought about doing that had it not been for like the exposure and experience that I've had from this program. So I'm just forever grateful, and I'm glad to see you guys. So yeah.
Love you, Malak. So proud of you.
Love you too.
Oh my goodness, like our burgeoning entrepreneur. Like, yo, soon we gotta have like a session for like our like, business people. Oh my goodness, so excited. I have in my notes, seriously, thank you, Malak. Really appreciate you. And it just kind of just goes to show like how that, that family tree just continues to grow. Next we have Ibijake. I'm saying your name right, so pretty. Ibijoke and Irija. I'm gonna try and spotlight you. When I can find you. Oh my God, I'm afraid. Oh, okay, I found you. I was afraid that you had left the chat. There you go. Hey, nice to see you.
Hi everyone. Just as an alumna from the year 1999, I am so in awe and just admiring and what I see here, because I can tell that like Mike's heart reached everyone, and it's and the love that he had for us and the care that he gave us, it's just like ongoing. So I can see his legacy through you, and I'm really moved. I joined IYLI when I went to a predominantly white school, but I grew up in Harlem, and I just never really had close Black and brown friends until I had the pleasure of joining IYLI. And as I can't remember her name, but one of you were talking about how he showed us how there's so many different ways to be in our Blackness, in ourselves, like, and we all had this untapped potential within us that we didn't even see that he helped to bring out. That's what I'm learning from hearing from you. And I also experienced that. I also remember one time when we went to Mexico for a seminar program. I was a vegetarian at the time, and he made everyone go to a vegetarian restaurant in Mexico. And I remember being really annoyed because I was like, Mike, nobody wants to be here. Like, why are you doing this? And he kept on saying, the chain is only as strong as its weakest link. And I think like one thing I learned about his mentality is like, it's really important to move beyond your own perspective and like enter someone else's world. And when you enter someone else's world, you can get to know them in such a deep way. And I feel like he entered each and every one of our worlds and became a source of hope, helped us overcome our challenges. And I think also through the program, when we traveled, we weren't just traveling to like be voyeurs and watch around, look, you know, this is how these people live, and so these people live. We did ethnographies, sure, but we also got to like think about like heart-to-heart connections. And Mike left that legacy of the importance of a heart-to-heart connection. That's really what's lasting. And especially in this time right now when we can't see each other face to face, even this forum right now shows how important it is for us to be able to like share our hearts with each other, connect, and be one. And Mike really represents that for me too, this idea of really being able to connect with people heart to heart. And that's a really powerful connection. And I'm just thankful to hear from all of you and to have been able to be part of this. I have to go, but thank you for this, and take care.
Thank you. So great to see you. Please give Madupe, your sister, our former board member, please give her our love as well. You
I will.
So similar, and even in your voice.
I know, it's weird.
So much love to y'all, and thank you.
Okay, take care. Thanks.
Yeah. Thank you. So, guys, the time is 4:43. So I want to, you know, Latif, question mark, China, Johnny Lee. So here's what I'm thinking, right? Boom. We have some announcements to make, and I think we should make those announcements. We also have like virtual Ashe, but this whole thing has kind of been virtual Ashe. You got loud birds in your room.
Oh, I didn't know you took me off mute already.
I'm gonna mute you again. Hold on.
Hold
on, I got you.
Oh, I tried to go somewhere quiet.
It's okay, no problem. No problem. It's like they want to join the convo too. So here's what I'm thinking, right? We should make our announcements. And we've been literally doing ashes this entire time. I'm wondering if like, you know, we can make our announcements and that be like our official close, quote unquote, but then like just continuing to make space for, you know, those of us who, you know, want to stay and, you know, hear and listen. I'm not going anywhere till I hear every last reflection. But we do want to just like honor, just in case anyone actually really has like that cutoff at 5. Sound cool? Can I just can I see some thumbs up? How are we feeling? Yeah. Coolio. All right. So to just shift really quickly into announcements before we get to hear from the illustrious Irija. Now in the chat we have Irija and Tatiana. Let me see. Dot 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 dot. Going into announcements. Okay, so you know, honestly, today has been like a pretty this past month has been a year. Just like meant like in terms of just like the amount of energy, just like mentally, emotionally, spiritually, that the time has required of us, and it's just Higgins says legacy, legacy, legacy. So all right, so we have more in the chat there. Thank you. But yeah, it's just it feels so good to get to gather with you all and to get to you know, just have this moment, this rare moment, like an oasis in a desert of, you know, insanity, to just be with you and to express love with you. And you know, no matter like how far in the world that we are, I'm seeing at least 3 different people calling in from at least 3 different countries, which is so amazing. If you were part of the pandemic conversation that we were having earlier, then you heard the announcement that because of the situation that the world is in, that our summer heritage program is being canceled, and that we're now aiming to travel again in 2021. But that, you know, our young people are so amazing in that, you know, every single person that's here who's been touched by IYLI, like, didn't like keep that impact to themselves. It's like we are the investment that Michael had made. He, and anyone who knows him knows that he really did invest, like, you know, his time, his energy, whatever he could spare, even of his finance, just like, you know, he gave everything he could to the purpose of, you know, loving his people. And he did that through each and every one of us. And so, you know, in the love that he expressed for us, like he was, you know, pushing us into our own greatness, and then encouraging us to use that greatness to then make life better for all of our people. And that's something that we will always like remember him for. And so like that investment is something that we always want to push forward with too. Like it is, it can't end with us. And it's something that, you know, I'm hearing people say, you know, IYLI will always be a part of our lives. And, you know, IYLI has been a part of people's lives since, you know, 1989. Like these are, you know, this impact that we're seeing is like the ripple effect over time. And so we want that to continue. So honestly, Michael, as wonderful as he was, of course, he couldn't do it all by himself. You know, like that's why he like, you know, that's part of why he created IYLI, that we could like galvanize like Black excellence around like the mission of uplifting our people. And so in that regard, like I'm getting, you know, as we're talking, I'm getting people like DMing me in the chat about like, oh, you know, like here's like the ways that I want to give back. Can we talk about seminar? Can we talk about, you know, like different like event ideas? And I'm loving that energy. And so like we really do want to just call everyone to absolutely, you know, come back, like stay, like don't, like IYLI is always here for you, like no matter what day, no matter what time, it does not matter. We'll be here for you for the rest of your life. When we say IYLI for life, we absolutely mean that. And we have people who have gone through IYLI and who have had children who then go through IYLI, who then bring cousins, who then go through IYLI, and we want to like continue that, and we cannot do it by ourselves. So, you know, just like a heads up that we do have like seminars coming up that you can also like participate in, and that, you know, our board is launching a, yeah. Oh, thank you, Benedicta, for copying that. Yeah, see, I love this. You know, we're like our board is launching a campaign, a $30,000 campaign in light of 30 years.
Ashley's not in it.
What in the whoever? Okay, I'm just gonna mute everybody. Yeah. So like, where was I? Right. I guess that was like a sign from the universe that like, yeah, we're like totally with it. But yeah, so we're launching like a $30,000 campaign, you know, to raise funds for like, you know, like to continue our community and continue being able to support youth for like, you know, the past 30 years. So now we're aiming for the next 30 years. And so that's like, you'll be receiving more information about that. But if you want to give to that in any way in regards to, you know, of your time, your talent, your energy, we're so here for it. If you want to, you know, say hi, you want to sign on to mentor, like, you know, there's a lot that we can do. Just want to let you know. Also, like we are matching gifts with that as well. So like we have like ability to like match, several thousands of dollars. And if you happen to know about gift matching, please do. It's like the place that you're working at, or if you happen to have colleagues who also like are about the mission of uplifting Black people of African descent, like just changing the world, put us in touch. Support can look like the thing that someone did for us when we didn't know about IYLI and someone took the time out of their life to tell us about it, that we could then walk through the door and have these life-changing experiences. Like that is also a form of support for IYLI. So you can also continue to refer people toward IYLI as well. So you'll be getting more information about that by email. But we have an annual run that we usually would do around this time of year. And in lieu of having that, like since most of our travel plans are in fact canceled either way, you can, also contribute toward supporting the travel for another young person, so who can also like benefit from that opportunity. Yeah, and I'm seeing like in the chat, thank you, Latif, like, follow us on Instagram. If you're a member of the IYLI community who has an Instagram and you don't follow us, honestly, I don't even know what to tell you, but I have, if I were you, I would do that. Don't be disgraceful. Anyway, okay. So with that being said, Latif, did I miss anything? Question mark.
No, I think you covered.
Thank you. So with that being said, let's get back into like, our, celebration. I want to pass it to, let me see this chat here. Irija, somebody help. Irija and ... No, yeah, so Irija and then Higgins.
And then Tati.
Thank you. I knew I could sense it. I'm sorry, Tatiana. I'm sorry.
But it's Irija, Tati, and then
Higgins.
Higgins.
Thank you. All right, so I'll pass it back to you, Irija. Now I can't hear you at all. You're not muted. Can't hear you.
Okay.
Oh, ooh. Say something again.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
All right. I kind of jammed my headphone into the socket. All right. So, yeah, I was saying thank you, Jadea. Thank you to the leadership of IYLI. It's good to see Bernadette. It's good to see some of the, the parents, the volunteers. I'm just very grateful that you all really made this happen. I feel like one of the first conference calls that I was on was with IYLI, and it wasn't, maybe it led into the visual, but at first it was just the phone conferences. So the fact that we're here and this is a family reunion, and we're literally in the essence of what it means to be IYLI. I see Senegal, I'm in Jamaica, it's different tropical backgrounds I'm seeing. So we're really embodying that spirit of travel being the best education, and not just to educate ourselves, but to live and to grow and to create businesses and to be of service. So, as you've heard, this, we're just paying it forward. So I'm grateful again to be invited to be a part of this celebration. Happy birthday, Mike. He's up there. He's been up there, with us down here, watching us, just making sure that we're staying connected. So I have so many memories. Before I was even a volunteer, I traveled to Egypt with him in 2008, and then in 2010 I was able to be a group leader, and then we traveled together to Tanzania and Zanzibar, and he's just allowed me to grow and to see myself as a leader, not just in my community, but really internationally, and not just, amongst people who look like us, but amongst people who have other views than us. And so I think that as long as you, carry that confidence that he's instilled in us through giving feedbacks, through doing these presentations, through going on interviewing random people, and spending time in places where you would never ever believe, or speaking a language, and really getting to know people of other cultures. He really wanted to have that full cultural immersion. So I think as long as we continue to do that and be of service, and give back to IYLI, like, yeah, we will really be, paying it forward. So I'm grateful again. Thank you so much, Sister Zuleika. Everyone, this is really, really powerful. So I'm here, I'm at the ocean. So I'm like giving all these ashes for Mike here. So I really appreciate it. Thank you so much, y'all.
Oh man, that touched me. Arija, I want to say thank you to you, for, holding it down with Michael, holding IYLI down with Michael for so many years, and, for being such an integral part of the IYLI experience for so many of us. You are OG and you know it. And like, I will always hold, I see people snapping like in the chat. I will always, honor and uplift you as well for playing such a serious and huge role in our development and my development, and IYLI's development as well. And just want to say thank you to you for that. I have so many memories too of being in Tanzania with you, and in Brazil with you, and just appreciate you. And yeah, thank you.
Just a quick shout out to your whole family though, because you guys have been like a whole backbone. Like, so just shout out, I don't know, for people who are on the call, the whole Brown family, amazing.
If it wasn't for my mother, my oldest brother would have never traveled. And in 1998, my oldest brother, who turned 40 this year, traveled to Egypt when he was like 16, 17. And so if it wasn't for her, like seeing it, like you will probably never see, I mean, Jade will actually make this happen. And those of you who are around with the organization, like on TV, like an organization taking students overseas to Africa. So like, shout out to my mom for like, being that person who, is really about social services and having other young people have these type of experiences. Because I got to see my brother, I got to see my younger sister, almost half of my family, and my cousin Chi-Chi's a part of. My nephew Jazai, like shout out to the legacy that is IYLI for life. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
I will, see, what I love about the Brown family is that like they did the thing that we do, we go back and share, but the family is big, so the whole family just up and travel. So it's like, oh, well, child, you're 14, it's time for you to head to Egypt. And it's like, when I see you folks, you just kind of remind me of like what I want, for my own like future children. Just like, like, oh, hey, well, it's time, time to go. And it gives me motivation to want to, keep supporting IYLI so that, everyone, every family can get to do that. Imagine if every family were like the Browns. Imagine, So with that being said, I'm going to pass it to Tatiana, who I absolutely am acknowledging by spotlighting here, and I totally did not forget. Okay.
Hello, everyone. How you doing today? I mean, I can't answer, but I hope y'all doing well. But I wanted to touch on how much IYLI means to me so much. I felt like I actually want to just give a huge shout out to Yamani. Like he like put me on to IYLI, and like I was kind of oblivious about my culture and being a Black woman and being like a dark-skinned woman as well. And I wasn't very comfortable in my skin. I was always like, oh, I want to be lighter. Why I have to do this and stuff. And when I came to IYLI, I felt like I was a part of something. I was a part of like a family, and also like I learned so much about being Black and just traveling and stuff like that. My first trip was during the Winter Institute when I went to Jamaica with Irija, and it was an amazing experience. We went to different, like being in the Blue Mountains, able to be like not able to be in a resort and like not we wasn't traveling, but we was learning so much, going to the Marcus Garvey Museum. That was like one of my favorite places. Bob Marley Museum, learning about the Moors. We went and stuff like that. And I just like I give a huge shout out to like IYLI, especially Dr. Webb. I haven't like had a huge like I haven't really talked to Dr. Webb like that, like most of y'all did. I knew Dr. Webb when he was here, but I yeah, like I really have to like give it up for IYLI. Like I love it. Like I always tell people about it. Like traveling changed my whole life, and like I even studied anthropology when I was in college. Like that's how much it like changed me. But I was like, oh, like anthropology is a lot of reading and writing. So I was just like, oh, okay, like this is going to be it. But just like learning about different cultures and stuff. So like it was amazing. So I really got to give up to Dr. Webb. Rest in peace. Also, Irija, thank you so much. You taught me so much, and I miss you. I hope you having a good time in Jamaica. But yeah, that's all I have to say.
Thank you, Tatiana. That's literally so beautiful, and I want to shout you out as well for doing what we, what Michael had always hoped that our fellows and alums would do, which is to come back and give back. You came, and as soon as you graduated from high school and you were, you went to college, and when you came back to New York City, and you came back and started to volunteer with us, you even came back to conduct, an amazing bomb seminar when you brought literally an entire squadron of people to teach our students about hydroponics in urban agriculture, and about, like, I learned so much about soil that day. It really inspired me.
As everyone compost, like we
Yes,
say.
everyone should compost. And the thing is that, that seminar sparked a whole nother conversation about what is it like about food insecurity and about food preservation, and which ended up becoming even more important in now, right? And so I just want to uplift you and say thank you for not just talking about, thank you for not just talking about giving back, but for being about it as well. You're a real one for that. And, Mike was a real one. We really appreciate the authenticity that you bring. And, I love you. We love you. And I just felt so convicted to like call you out for that. Thank you.
Thank you.
And so,
Ashe.
We have next repeat seminar. Oh yeah, we should do that seminar again. Oh yeah, we got to do a part 2. You should have seen it, Bernadette. It was, oh my God, it was great.
I got you. I still got slides and stuff. So
yeah,
I gotcha. I'm gonna bring my own little soil, little plant. I could like get a little mini. I can do it.
Those little shovel situations. Oh, I'm so excited. Okay. Where was I? Higgins, you ready?
Oh wait, Jadea?
Yes.
I think after Higgins, somebody else is supposed to be going.
Looking for the.
Oh, you can just look at the camera.
We can look at the chat.
You can look at your camera yourself.
Looking for, hold on a second. Sorry, this is
You can see yourself. You can find yourself.
Look for the where is it me or is Higgins not here?
He signed off.
Oh, that's unfortunate.
Oh no.
All right. Well, let me see. Is anybody else? Let me see. I think I saw a message. That I started. Latif, if you may please just let me know when you might be able to catch hands at your earliest convenience. Thank you, sir. Let me see. Yeah, you guys, like.
I'm gonna start chanting.
Yeah, for real. Like, just look at yourself in the camera.
Real quick.
We're looking for you.
Step 1, please calm down. Step 2, others who haven't gotten a chance to share. Step 3, we've been doing this the entire time where we've been treating everyone in our IYLI community with equality, and I must insist on the same equality where everyone opts into the process and speaks out when they are ready.
Well, we're at the point where Higgins is not on the line, and I've been called out to speak when I didn't. So let's just return the favor.
You call and you answer the call. Okay, all right. So I would also ask. I was literally just about to ask if Anissa or Barbara or Fred or Pat, or the people who are here, who haven't, had an opportunity to share, or Lei Chin, if you would like to, Pablo, if you would like to share out. I did just want to make that space. See, because as we were speaking, Pat Tuberty just typed in legacy. It's an opt-in process, and we need to appreciate that.
Okay.
Thank you, sir, and ma'am, and madam.
Hi. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, good. I'm Pat Tuberty, and I met Mike Webb back in, I think, 1995. He worked for New Visions and helped me start my school. And from that, we became very, oh God, I look ugly. We became very dear friends. And I actually was on the board for, I don't know, about 12 years. And we traveled a lot together. And I just know that what he was all about was IYLI. And he dedicated his life to that. And, you know, I heard many of the stories, some of which was shared, you know, we talk about. And he would be, I guess I want to say, he'd just be so proud of the men and women you've become, because he worked so hard. And you know, even to the day he died, he was still working for IYLI. And at times I'd get upset because I knew how sick he was and I knew everything he gave. And it's good for me to hear all this too, because I shouldn't be so upset about that. But I know that he'd be so proud of the lives he's touched and what you've become. And that's all I have to say. Recovering from the virus, I did get it. So thank you.
Wow. First of all, okay, somebody. Okay, there we go. First of all, thank you, Pat, for, you know, joining on. Like, super happy that you know, you're, you know, in recovery. You know, Pat, y'all don't, like, many of you don't know Pat, because Pat was, you know, mainly in like board meetings, and, you know, mainly helping out Michael, but Pat is one of Michael's closest friends as well, and one of IYLI's most stalwart supporters. And just want to say thank you. And I'm just so happy to see your face, you know, it's been a minute. And so with that being said, yeah, I pray that you definitely feel better. I think at this point, I guess I have to share. Apparently, you know, I feel like I've been threatened. And honestly, part of it's kind of just hard for me to know where to start. I don't know where to start. I don't know where to start. Is there anyone who feels compelled to share out in the meantime? I don't mean to drag it out. I just sincerely, I'm still getting my words together. Thanks, Anissa. Anissa for the save. That's why I love you. I mean it. I'm coming. I just need a sec.
My mute is off. Don't say. All right, I just wanted to say something real quick. Just some, my grandmother used to say, like, some you know, some laughs. Do y'all remember how well Dr. Webb packed? I am still like, and of course, I love fashion, so I'm always gonna bring it back to clothing. But I'm still trying to figure out how well he packed. Like, I remember he had like 2 button-ups, 2 slacks, and he would look so crisp every day. We would have huge suitcases filled with clothes and all kinds of crap. And Mike would say, no, like, pack me, like, it's all there, the knowledge that you receive when you get there. You're not about to have a fashion show. So pack small, pack light. And this man, I remember he would come with like really small suitcases and just be crisp every day. So I just wanted to highlight that and you just bring that moving forward. And, you know, Mike, I remember when I joined IYLI and I didn't think I could do it because I didn't think I was smart enough. That was always something that that bothered me, just like not feeling like equipped and not feeling intelligent enough. And whenever I sat with Mike, he made me feel like he was learning from me. And now that was something that I honored so much from him. Like I never felt like, oh, this man has so much knowledge and he doesn't want to be around me because I have nothing to offer him. He always made it a point that he was learning something from us. And being on this call is reminding me to, whenever I feel insecure or whenever I feel like I'm not capable of doing something, to know that Mike is around. He's around me, and he's also like a part of me as well, to keep moving forward and to know I have the tenacity, I have the knowledge, I have everything. I'm fully equipped with everything because he basically gave it to me. So yeah, I just wanted to throw that out there. Now it's your turn, Jade. No more hiding.
You know, I was about to get like, oh, y'all get on my nerves, but y'all get but I guess family does that sometimes, and I guess, you know, thank you guys for constantly reminding me to speak out when I otherwise want to not. I talk a lot. I have to in the work that I do.
Spotlighted. Sorry, we can't really see you.
Someday. Okay. All right. Okay. Wusa. There we go. Okay. So I think I was just in the middle saying like, yeah, I mean, I talk a lot and I have to in this role. But one thing that people don't really, you know about me is that I actually really do prefer to like not be in the front of anything. I really do prefer to just like, you know, for other people to, you know, be in the front and to just kind of be like wind beneath folks' wings. But God just keeps like pushing me in like front of people. And I fight it. And you guys don't let me fight it. So, you know, now I'm here. So I guess I should say thank you. First of all, I think about Michael, and I think about what a blessing it is to have gotten to know him, and what a blessing it's been to get to you guys are like sending me messages and I'm like reading it like as we go, and it's this is difficult. Oh my God. No, it's not. Actually, it's not. All I have to do is speak the truth. So I'm gonna just say. So I should preface this by saying that today is a hard day for me. I lost someone in my family today, and I lost someone in my family yesterday. And so I've been trying to like, I'm like thinking through, and I'm just really grateful in this moment that that we're talking about legacy already. And it just, whenever I think about Michael, I think about the kind of respect that he had for time, and how, you know, people mentioned earlier that he doesn't, you know, procrastinator. He, you know, the very first day that I ever walked into like IYLI, which was, oh my God, 10 years ago, almost 10 years ago now, I met Michael, and he had asked me the same question that he asked Jivy about what I wanted to be. And at that time, I wanted to be an ophthalmologist, which is like the eye surgeons. And so he was like, oh, there's a scholarship for Black youth who are interested in medicine. Give me your email, I'll send it to you. And I was like, sure, cool. I didn't think about it. And then when I got home from the very first IYLI open house that I went to with Anissa and Aaliyah, Sajida and Malika, I checked my email, and there was an email from Michael with the link that he said that he would send me. And I was like, oh, like he really meant it. Like he meant everything, you know, that he said. And that's something that I really just loved about him. Like he never, even though he was playful, even though he was you know, just hilarious as a person, he never said a thing that he didn't mean. Like every single word, like he made every single thing he did was something that counted. Every single word that he spoke was something that he believed. He was such like so absolutely true to his word. In essence, I guess when I think about him, I think of him as just like an if not perfect, like a near perfect example of what it is to love, and what it is to really put what it means to really like put everything on the line for what you say you believe in, and to like put, you know, he really did like give his entire life to the cause of like, you know, the fact that he loved his people, and he loves each and every one of you. Even people here on this call who I haven't met, the names that I see, like I can literally tell you about just like, you know, stories that like Michael has like told me about you, that like he was thinking, just know he was thinking of you every single step of the way, and his willpower never let him give up, not even until his final moments. Like he never gave up on any one of us, and he really did believe in me more than I believed in myself, and I'm still to this very moment working to see and understand what he saw that he would ask me to take any role in like filling a position with a title that he held, and I'm still trying to like understand that. But as time goes on, I'm starting to understand it more, that he really can't be Michael. You can't do any of this work in without love, without like honestly like loving. And it is like love in like the purest form, where it's just that, you know, it's not about like what we might want for you to become. He never at any point imposed anything on any of us, except for just a desire to be excellent at whatever it was that we had wanted, like except for like stretching us into you know, more than what we thought was possible. And it's like that kind of thought that continues to drive me as well. It's something that, you know, our team, I know we don't take very lightly at all. I feel like I'm kind of just rambling. I'm just grateful. Grateful to have gotten to spend time with him, talk with him almost every day for 8 years straight, and to get to see like his legacy continue. That's how, like, you know it's real when you can see like people coming through over over so many years. And it's just a reminder to us all that even though Michael is no longer here with us physically, at the end of the day, like the mission that he fought so hard for absolutely still is here. That, you know, he really does live on in like the hearts of each one of us, and like you can absolutely tap into his energy. You know, like what would Michael do? Like what would he tell you in this moment? He absolutely lives on in each of us, and it's up to us, like, because we, out of all like 7.8 billion people on the planet, like the folks who are here on this call, like had the blessing of actually getting to be impacted by his work and be a part, like hence also being a part of his legacy, which means that we owe it to ourselves and we owe it to our community, we owe it to our people to continue to do the same, that we can show up and like for people in the way that he did for us. We can show up in our communities in the way that he did for us, because, you know, Michael was just one person, and look at look at this, look at you, look at how like amazing you are, look at the places that you've been. I'll just, you know, just continue to say that, you know, whatever it is that we can do, whatever it is that I can do to you know, support you folks in any way, you know, we're absolutely here for it, because that's what Michael would have wanted. And, you know, we absolutely are not going to stop in, you know, continuing that momentum to like carry the torch so that the whole world can feel like that same light that we got from him. So thank you all. Love you all. And he loves you all as well.
We love and appreciate you so much, for real. Like without your unwavering commitment, like without your by any means attitude, like we would be left in the dark. And it's your light that keeps us going into the next millennia and the next 30 years and the next 40 years. So We are very, just like you're appreciative of us, like we are equally and abundantly and even more profoundly more appreciative and so honored just to be amongst all your greatness. So just that's that one, that period. Oh, sorry, I was saying if you're muted, we couldn't hear you.
Oh, I just said Alhamdulillah. It's Arabic. It means all praises due to Allah. Thank you. Is there anyone else who'd like to share? Shall we like officially Ashe out? Oh, thank you, Irija, for your virtual hugs.
I have like one quick thing to say.
Please.
Yeah, after Latif spoke just now, well, not just now, a little while back, it definitely inspired me because we were like, I texted him and just was letting him know like how much I appreciated his words. And he was just saying like, I hope to have the impact that Michael had, you know, on Dr. Webb had on everybody, on people in the future. And I feel like the sky's the limit, but I definitely think that in terms of legacy, that we shouldn't be expecting any less, but you know what he was able to accomplish. And I feel like everybody here, whether you're in this you know in this chat right now, or you know those who have been touched by him in general, I feel like have the ability and the potential to do what he did and more and better. And I feel like he wanted us to do more and better, and not to like necessarily do what he did. He wanted us to do what we wanted to do, but just to make sure that it had that impact and that same influence, you know, that he did. So I believe in everyone here, and I think that we are all destined for greatness in our own ways and our own capacities. And I just feel like we can't forget to check up on each other and can't forget that sense of community, because sometimes there's days, weeks, months go by and we don't really hear from each other. And I understand that's the way that life is, but we just can't forget to look out for one another and to keep that community, and just keep things going. Don't ever forget. Like, I don't know who's familiar with, I hope you guys are all familiar with Sankofa. If you're not, you should be. But it's just the idea that even when looking forward and going to the future, you should always recognize your past and recognize where you came from, and not to forget, you know, those who helped you get there. And, you know, this is a clear representation that we're never going to forget what Dr. Webb did for us. You know, but we also just can't forget each other, and it's just this community and the feeling that we have right now. Just like, I just literally can't help but like constantly smiling when I look at a face. Like, I always want to like, it brings me to joy just to like see everyone and be in everyone's presence. I just think we lose sight of that when we're just all, I guess, in the motions of life. But let's just not forget, you know, each other and our community, and just always come back is what I'll say. Try to if you can. So thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much for saying that. Y'all see why I call him Young Malcolm, right? Y'all, yeah, you see it, right?
Your money.
Yeah, it's definitely a fact, and that resonates as well. Literally, just the sight of your faces is just like a highlight of my month. Just being able to see you. I like to ask. I guess now would be a good time to, you know, like formally Ashe. To be honest, I'm not like in a rush to leave. You know, those of us who, you know, need to go, please feel free. But yeah, you know, this is an open space, and whoever might be inclined to this, we haven't heard from. Someone say something?
I did. I'm sorry. Could I add one thing?
Okay, please.
Yeah. 5 years ago, I had the pleasure and was blessed to attend your 25th anniversary.
Yeah.
And Michael was, he was sort of a focal point of that celebration. And so many people came up and spoke about what he meant to them and what he had done for them. And later that evening, when we were hanging out, you know, I was so proud of him. I'm always been so proud of him. for what he's done and what he's accomplished, and more importantly, for who he is. But he never had that sense of pride. His humility was something that was amazing to me. And what he said to me, I'll never forget. He said that he thought all of the kind things that were said about him, that he just didn't agree with it. He said that he didn't do anything. He really didn't do anything. That it all came from each one of you, that you are responsible for your achievement, your accomplishment, and the direction that you're taking in your life. He might have helped to set the environment to help you to prosper and go forward in that direction, but listening to all of you and what you've done and where you are in your life and your commitment to social change and to the improvement of your life and continuing that legacy is incredible. And but just know that at least coming from Mike, it was really more about you than him. And that's the way he honestly saw it. And Judea, you said it well. He never said anything that he didn't absolutely believe. And I've come to the conclusion from my own personal experience that it is really about the recipient and what you do with that information, that material. And he had absolute faith and belief in all of us. And for you to be where you are today, it really speaks more to who you are. And I just wanted to add that. Thank you.
Ashe. Could anyone else benefit from taking a deep breath? I think we should take a deep breath. Yeah, let's do it on your own. I see a sun salutation there. Thank you. Thank you. I mean, so to like, I really, if I'm gonna stop for a second. I'm gonna stop. I'm gonna wait.
I just wanted to add something really quickly. I would just say, I think I was also inspired by like what I heard from Yamani and Derek. And I think that one of the like most important things that that Mike gave to us all was like he provided the frame for us to be successful in. And he made, things that should be like obvious things. Like if you want something, that's okay. But like, what does it mean to actually want something? Do you know the steps that it takes to get there? Do you know what the person at the top looks like? Do you know kind of, if you have to go to school to do that? Do you know like, what context would be important? So I think for him, one of the biggest things that he provided for us all was like the frame for us to be successful, the frame to constantly learn about ourselves, and pull from the things that we have within us, to really make a difference in the world. So, we talk a lot about, the framework of like history, culture, geography, environment. Like that's one example of how, he has, given us a frame to learn through, to engage with the world, to engage with people around us, to understand like any concept that we come across. And, he's constantly done that same thing for us all. And it's not always, I think me and Jadea joke about this a lot, and just like, I guess it's like I don't know if it's a verb, but we call it like miking, like you've been mic'd. And you may come to him with this like series of questions about how, oh, I'm so confused. I don't know what to do here. These are my options. Like, I really need help. Someone like give me advice. And, you would have a conversation with him, and, he would listen like the whole time. And then like, by the end of that conversation, you would have then like answered your own questions and like knew exactly where you wanted to go. And I think, you know, we would oftentimes like attribute it to like, oh wow, like you know, you really helped me figure this out. But in actuality, he provided you the frame, he gave you an ear to listen to, and he was always real with you. So that in itself allows for you to kind of to figure out those things that you're being challenged with, to figure out the things that are important to you. And you know, for me, I remember, you know, he asked me a similar question, what did I want to do? I remember like, oh, I want to be a lawyer. And it's like, okay, that, you know, that's good. You know, but like he also challenged me to like understand kind of like one, like what it takes, but then also to always think bigger, like just in general, like not to say, you know, what you know, thinking about doing is not enough, but to know that you can even do more than that. So like, you know, my like want to be a lawyer turned to, matter of fact, I want to be a judge. And then like going to see like the war tribunals in Tanzania, it was like, oh wow, this is life changing. Like, you know, there's somebody internationally who was just like a judge and doing this. Like, you know, then that also shifted for me to saying, you know, I want to be, you know, a leader at, you know, whatever I do. If I'm, you know, if I'm in politics, like, you know, I want to be a governor, I want to be the president. You know what I'm saying? Like just like really getting you to think about the things that are on the table and that it's attainable. And I think one of the first steps it takes in getting there is accountability within yourself. Because, you know, the things that you really want in life don't just come to you. You have to work for them. And I think that him constantly providing that frame, and sharing to all of us that, you know, the things that you want in life really take that, you know, motivation, dedication, and you have to really put time to it. Like it's just not going to come to you. So, you know, I just wanted to uplift that as just some values that, you know, I know that he's instilled in us all, and some things that, you know, I also take with myself, to be able to share with the people I interact with as well. So.
Yeah. Thank you, Ashe. Thank you for naming that. Oh, China, I see your emoji. Thank you for sharing that. Like, I think that if Michael wanted us to know, like, wanted like you or anyone listening to like know, is just that, like, you know, when it takes being able to see yourself in a new light and seeing yourself for what you're fully capable of, for you to then like walk into that truth. Because we as a people have done so, have given this world everything, have done so much in the face of such horrible adversity, to still be like to go through what we've been through and to still be able to give so much in culture, give so much in science, to be able to build entire civilization and to inspire entire movements. Throughout that, it takes like having something, you know, special in you. But we live in a world that that tells us that we're unworthy, that tells us that, you know, to be Black is to be other, to be African is to be like undesirable, that to, you know, to be the things that make us who we are, and that make us great, is in fact like not great, and it's a lie. And so he's like, in a sense, like dedicated his life to dispelling that lie in each of our own minds, so that then like unlocking that key, we can then like walk into just being ourselves, which inherently is being great, and doing that for each of us, and doing that for an entire community. And yeah, so if anything, he would want us to be able to see ourselves like walking into our power. And so thank you, Lati, for that reminder, because it just speaks to like the principles that, you know, we can carry on, and that like by carrying Michael and each of us, like he is still can still keep us accountable to living up to these like values. Like, you know, if we see even ourselves, like I think about Michael all the time, even when I might want to procrastinate, it's like I can't be outworked by someone, you know, I can't like let him outwork me, you know. That's like it's like a thought of mine, but it's just like, you know, we should be carrying that same loving spirit, that same generosity. We should be striving our best to exemplify that in ourselves, and that's how we continue in his legacy. And if we do that just by virtue of being ourselves, like we will be great, you know. We already are. It's just like we can develop that in the world, we get to see it. and the world will be better off for it. With that being said, so I think it makes sense to at least like formally like close out. I'll keep this space open for anyone. If anyone just wants to, you know, do what we do at seminar and hang out for a bit, that's more than fine. But I think, yeah, if it's possible for folks to, if you can show yourself, that'd be awesome. If not, we'd rather not, no pressure. But the way we conducted our Ashe Circle previously, which I think will work well for this time around, would be just if you have like a final something you want to put out there and we all say Ashe. But yeah, would anyone like to start us off in our virtual Ashe? Really, this whole thing has been an Ashe Circle, and I would like put time to. We need to like tie legacy into that. Bailu, are you about to say something?
Yeah.
Awesome.
Just like adding on to what people were saying about Dr. Webb and, you know, holding the way that he made you hold yourself accountable. That's something that like just a memory like of him, like me like not like responding to emails and him like, you know, being like why, like just being really hard on me and me being like, why is he being hard on me? But also realizing that, you know, I was self-sabotaging at that time, and like he was trying to get me to take myself seriously and, you know, hold myself accountable. And that's something that I am still working towards. But just his memory itself like reminds me of that. And this conversation we've been having is reminding me of that. And just seeing all your lovely faces is just one of the best things that I could have asked for. So thank you guys for blessing me today. Thank you, Dr. Webb, for blessing us all with your infinite knowledge and energy, which continues to circulate through us in the world. And yeah, wishing you guys all the best and for you to stay healthy and safe. And yeah, I love you guys and I love IYLI, and I'm so happy and thankful for all of the experience I've had with you guys and the ones that I will continue to have, and the possibilities that IYLI and Dr. Webb have made possible. Yeah, and I just, you know, I'm glad that we are connecting in this moment. And like Imani said, like I hope we all continue to connect. And it's beautiful, especially that we're connecting, even in this virtual space, still feeling your hearts and energies. So very, very grateful.
Ashe.
Happy birthday, Dr. Webb, and love you guys. Ashe.
Hey.
Ashe.
Ashe.
Woo. Latif, you raised your hand? Question mark.
Oh yeah, I just wanted to thank everyone for coming. I also wanted to just again say happy birthday to Dr. Webb. This is an amazing day to share with you all. To share, like Belu said, your energy. I think I also want to echo that it's also been a blessing just to see all your faces. And I think that that's something that as our ally, like we want to work on, and we want to get more of our alumni, even if it's like 30 minutes for us to just talk and say hey. We definitely want to keep that going because this is really important for us to stay connected. And I know earlier we talked about during the seminar, like some of the positive outcomes of like this virus. I think one is the fact that it's showing that we can like have this community virtually, and it can be done in more ways than I think today is a great example of that. And I'm just grateful to have you all here and to like share this day with you because, you know, it's kind of good. I think I would like to have this every year because I'm always very thinking a lot about Dr. Webb. And, you know, it's kind of tough when you like dealing with those feelings alone. And I think that we've all shown each other that we're not alone. And I think I'm very grateful to you all. Ashe.
Ashe. If there's one thing that well, I've asked is anyone Ashe before I do, because I'm gonna close this out and close the meeting. Going once. Pablo's raising his hand. Hey, Pablo. Okay, you got it.
Yeah.
Hey.
Let me hold up. Let me share my.
Porfa. There we go.
Hey guys, I can't. Okay. Yeah. So I haven't shaved in a while, so I have my video on mute. But I just wanted to you know, express my gratitude for today and also, you know, honor Dr. Webb. I never had the pleasure or opportunity to meet him, but, you know, just hearing all of these stories about him, you know, it really does feel like his energy and his legacy and everything that he stood for lives on in this space and in this community and in each of you. And that's something that, you know, I feel really grateful to just be a part of this space and share this community with you guys, but also, you know, to feel his presence still here in this space. You know, I definitely, you know, I feel like I really could have benefited from all of the lessons that he taught you guys in terms of just like not procrastinating or self-accountability, things like that. Like these are all things that I really need to work on for myself. So, you know, I want to honor the space and honor Dr. Webb and, you know, honor you guys in this community by trying to embody that. So, you know, I'm just really appreciative to have heard these stories today and learn more about him, and to share this day with you guys too. And, you know, I'm definitely really glad to see everyone, and, you know, definitely I'm excited to that this community is still going, despite everything that's happening, you know. Yeah, I'll leave it at that for now.
Thank you so much, Pablo. So Pablo is one of our newest volunteer, and like you're a real one for sticking with us all throughout this time. Thank you so much. It's so great, like for you to be a part of like our community, and you know, like Johnny Lee was signing over there, IYLI for life. We really do mean that. And again, anyone else before we wrap? Miles. All right, boom, passing it to you, and then anybody. Oh my God. Okay. There's Miles, and then I'm closing it out. It's like, oh God. Okay. Here you go.
So I just wanted to, you know, state my gratitude once again, just for Dr. Webb, but just for the community that he has, you know, brought me to, and like the fact that I'm able to share. We're all able to share our love for Dr. Webb together, but also like our love for one another together, and that's very beautiful. And having the ability to bring so many people into contact with one another, to love each other and to share love through, you know, knowledge and through like sharing information and lessons, is such a beautiful practice, and it's a very healing practice. And he's just someone that I look up to so much, and the fact that children years from now are going to be able to call that one of their ancestors is such a beautiful thing. And he has already been such a beautiful ancestor for all of us. Just, you know, he's passed on to somewhere beautiful and somewhere else, but he's just there, and he's brought so much beauty to our lives. And so, you know, just ashe to that. I love Dr. Webb so much, and I love all of you so much, and I think that I want to be like that when I get older. You know, I want to be that ancestor for the children who come years after me. And I think that what Dr. Webb has shown us about legacy is that like we can truly do it ourselves, and like we have the capability to have our own legacies, and ones that are just equally as powerful. And that's not something I thought for myself ever before I met Dr. Webb and before I came to IYLI. And just the concept of wanting to achieve that, wanting to live and wanting to have a beautiful life, so that I can see that day, and so that we can all see that day, and create that ourselves, is wonderful. And then also, just, this is also showing me that there's no excuse not to show up. We have virtual we have all these things now. I'm a whole tech major now, so it's just these new formations of existing and getting in contact with one another is so beautiful. And I think that the one good thing about all of what's happening is that now there is no excuse. Now there's so many ways that we can get in contact with one another, and we can share love. And so just like brainstorming and using this situation as a catalyst for brainstorming, I think is also something that is going to be very fruitful for all of us. But yeah, just with that, I just want to say I'm so grateful for Dr. Webb. I'm so grateful for all of you guys. And yeah, Ashe.
Ashe. We're grateful for you.
Ashe.
Wow.
Ashe.
And
Love you, Maya.
That Ashe. I saw your hands up. So I'll go to Bernadette, and then I'll close it out. Thank you.
Okay. Okay. So thank you, everyone, for being here. This has been a wonderful, wonderful experience. Can you hear me? No. Can you hear me? Yes? Okay. All right. So I think one of the greatest gifts that we can give to Dr. Webb is to be our greatest self, whoever that greatest self is to you. I think his point was to show you who you are, to introduce you to yourself, and to and hope that you would take it to the next level. And another thing I know that he would want is for everyone who has benefited from this program to give back. And I would say, no matter what your life or how busy, we have come to see that our lives is not really busy. We can take a break to give back, to offer, call and ask IYLI, text, social media, whatever you can do, and offer to volunteer. Don't let us have to come to you, but just offer. There's so many things that we need. Jadea and Atif, Johnny Lee, China, they're all working tirelessly. And we also have other lives, our other lives. We have other things that we do. But because of, the commitment that we've made, we continue to do whatever we can do. And you can do whatever you can do. It doesn't matter if it's a call, you have skills, share your skills. However you can give back, do that, because that's very important. And I know Dr. Webb would want that. I know that, because the more you give, the more we grow. So I think, if you could do anything, you stay in touch. We're always here. We're always here. Our doors are always open. There's no way you can't get in touch with us. And we're hoping that Jadea, correct me if I'm wrong, Latif, correct me if I'm wrong, to do seminars. And anyone is welcome to join. You can join and chime in and just participate if you like this feeling, and you like that feeling of seeing each other and being close to each other and learning from each other and networking, feeling the spirit, then be there. Come to the seminars, virtual seminars. This is great, because this will help us expand our reach, and we can connect like this. So I would encourage you to definitely stay involved and help us to grow. Happy birthday to Dr. Webb. You'll never be forgotten. We know you're here. We know you are leading us through this whole journey. And thank you, thank you, thank you so much for all you've given to us and shared with us. Ashe.
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 So as we close out, I just want to give a special shout out to the team. Thank you to, everyone who helped to make this possible. Thank you to Barbara, China, Latif, Johnny Lee. Thank you, Bernadette. Thank you to Professor Ba, our board member who couldn't be here with us. Shout out to the people who literally called in from a whole nother country, let alone from another state. I'm coming to you live from the faraway land of Brooklyn, which to most of us here is not that far. And we just really appreciate it because it's it's a beautiful thing to be a part of something that's much greater than any one of us, and that is how we plug into legacy, into like that kind of eternal life when it's living for something that goes beyond just you. And just know that you are loved and appreciated, and that we're absolutely here for you. As we close out and we uplift the name of Michael, let us all remember and make sure that the investment in time and energy and love that he gave to us does not go in vain. Each one of us, one thing I heard you say, Latif, is that we think about Michael a lot, and sometimes it feels like we, having to process those feelings alone is not preferred compared to being able to process those feelings with community. Oh my God, it's Charlotte. Hey, Charlotte. Hey. So it's like that.
Sorry, I couldn't join you guys. I'm just running in and out.
No problem. We're about to Ashe out right now. Like
Okay.
that.
Love you guys.
Love you too.
Oh my God.
One thing that I think I'll end on is just to say that, one thing Michael also helped me to learn is that we are never truly alone, because in order for us to be exactly where we are at this exact second, we exist as the result of the great sacrifice of our ancestors. We stand on their shoulders. Every, like us, for literally just us to even exist and be here at this very moment in 2020, April 11th. There are, thousands of people who we'll never get to meet who contributed to this great chain of events that led to us to be here. There's, family members, community members, people in our school, our cousins, our friends who contributed to us being here at this moment, who gave a kind word, who sent a referral, who sent a suggestion that we walk into the space, who, took the time to say something to us in a time where we might have made like a decision that would have led to us being in a different place. And, we are never truly alone because we carry with us, we stand on the shoulders and we carry on our backs that investment. And so we owe it to ourselves and to everyone to continue to move forward and, make that investment like worthwhile, and to continue to on that so we can put into others, others put into us. So we'll be with that, and happy birth anniversary to Michael. I'm gonna take the mute off for everyone.
Mama, this is my best picture. This is my best
one
picture.
from Merlene.
Mama, look. Look at her.
To China.
My best picture of all of us. Hi.
Ashe.
Ashe. Wait. Hello?
Yes.
Oh, wait. Jimmy wants to say hi. I don't think y'all can see him, but I don't know why he can't call in. Okay, hello? I don't think they can see you. Oh, yes, they can see you. Yes, technology is lit. Wait, can you see all of them? No, it's on speaker view. Hold on. Okay, there we go.
He was just here.
No, not Jibby. Sorry, this is Ibrahimo. What's wrong with me? We have a meeting, but yeah. So they can't see you. That didn't work. I don't know why I just called you Jibby.
Hey, Dad.
All right, I'm about to call y'all in about like 10 minutes. Sorry. Let me mute myself.
Jadea.
Yeah.
Hi.
Hi. Who's speaking?
It's Tati.
Hey. Okay.
Oh, I'm sorry. Quick question. I know I'm late, and I'm so sorry. What can we do as alumni parents to, help give back to, Dr. Michael huge. Can you hear me?
I can hear you perfectly.
Okay. He left a huge legacy for all our children. So, what can we do as alumni parents to give back?
You know, it's a whole conversation on its own that we can set up to talk about as well. But the first thing, you can galvanize and reach out to the fellow alumni parents who you know to come together to help us support this 30 for 30 campaign that we are also just like launching. Because there's a lot that can happen digitally, and you know, you are a parent who is plugged in not only to other parents but also to the community. So that, like that, and like keeping that momentum going would be necessary. Can you put your email in the chat? I think I have it. Just making sure I have your most current one. And you wanted to add on to that.
Yeah, Miss Charlotte, I have your email. So basically what I can do, because Doris and I like to talk, and I think Doris was on the call. Doris, shout out to you. You're another real one who just always comes through. She's an alumni parent as well. And we can just pretty much kind of map some things out and go from there. Doris and I kind of, we speak, and it's kind of something like this, but just, you know, more seasoned people on the call normally. And it's a small group of us, and we just talk and we connect, and, you know, we figure out, like, what is the next thing for IYLI? Like, what does what has IYLI done for me? And, like, what does that look like reciprocated with love and, like, with my connections and my experience and, like, the individual that I am and my family? And then that's it. So totally, like, drop your email there for everyone, but we can talk offline as well.
Okay, great. I know I've been MIA and I have a lot of stuff on my plate, but you know, this is important. And you know, I want to see IYLI grow, and I know a lot of parents, other parents, want to see it grow also. So if anything I can do, just let me know. I'll send you my email also.
Thank you. Love you so much.
Yes, definitely.
So peace out to everyone. We're about to end this meeting because we as volunteers got to debrief also. So we love you all immensely and looking forward to the next time you see you. Our next seminar is on April 25th. That'll be for the students who are current, who are working on the CSCPs. If any of you want to chime in about how you know, did your CSCP, come through. We'll send out the invite. Love you all and be safe.
Love you guys. Peace. IYLI for life.
IYLI for life.
Everyone.
Be safe. Take your
Peace.
vitamins.